Narelle summers be kind to your mind on Small Radio.
Hello, everybody, and we do apologise for the delay of this going live. We had a little gremlin in our system this morning.
At least they know we're live, don't they, Narelle?
Yes.
Oh, it's doing it again.
Is it repeating it?
Yeah.
The gremlin seems to be still here. Hello, everybody, and we do apologise for the delay of this going live. We had a little gremlin in our system this morning.
At least they know we're live, don't they, Narelle?
Oh. Yes.
Oh, it's doing it again.
Is it repeating it?
Yeah.
The gremlin seems to be still here. Hello, everybody.
Right.
And
Bear with us. I'm really sorry, everybody. Give us 2 minutes and we'll be right back. I'm really sorry about this. Really, really sorry. At least they know we're live, don't they, Narelle?
Oh. Yes.
Oh, it's doing it again.
Is it repeating it?
Yeah.
The gremlin seems to be still here. I don't really want to say anything because it's just going to come back on the loop, isn't it?
See, it stopped doing it when I've...
Is it because when all the mics are on?
Maybe. It's feeding back. But it's never done that before. I've only got one mic on here.
Jan, would you put your mic on and see if it feeds back?
Yes, I'm going to talk now and see if I'm the problem.
No, I don't think you're the problem. It's never done.
I just think it's all 3 mics on.
Okay. Do you think it's more than it can handle?
It should.
A bit odd for Zoom.
Yeah, it's designed to do that. I've never ever had that before.
Right, we're talking now. It's okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have we clicked anything? Maybe it's something to do with your background music, Narelle Summer's theme tune. I don't know.
Let me just have a look, see if it's on.
Yeah, I mean, it's not repeating now, is it?
No, it's not repeating now. So, whatever's happened is better.
Yeah. You want us to crack on, Richard, and just see?
I'm just trying to see if my other laptop's got anything open. Do you know what I mean? But it's not doing it now.
You've got something up and on your other
Well,
machine?
I've got all my jingles and that on another machine, and then
right.
It's not repeating anything now, is it?
No, it's not. We're okay.
Okay. You want me just to continue, Richard, and we'll just see?
Sorry, I'm a bloke, I can't multitask.
I mean, I think we're all right now. If you want to just
right, let's give it another whirl.
Right, so we don't need to play the jingle because it's already been played quite a few times. So hello, everybody.
Hang on, I ain't gone live yet. I've had to stop it streaming it live. So right. Right then. Take 2.
So hello, everybody. I'm Narelle Summers, emotional wellbeing coach and speaker. Do apologise yet again. The gremlin seems to have come back, but hopefully it's gone away now. So good morning or good afternoon or good evening if you're listening to this on catch up. Today, my guest is Jan Ansel. Now, I've actually known Jan for over 20 years. Isn't that right, Jan?
It is. Actually, I can't believe it's that long.
I'm not quite sure whether we should tell people how we met.
It's a bit of a strange one. Yeah, we met working for West Yorkshire Police in a weird way.
Yeah. We don't need to mention what we did for West Yorkshire Police. And as always, my producer, who has been a little star this morning, because fighting those gremlins off, Richard, you've done a really good job. How are you?
Great to be alive. I've still no idea. The only thing I think I've done is I've muted the other. I just think the other laptop's connecting and playing. I don't know. I have no idea. So
anyway, we're here, we're live, and I'm going to be chatting to Jan, who, and I do have to say that this program is going to have some sensitive topics. So I just want to prepare people. 7 years ago, Jan's life changed forever through just a routine appendicitis operation that actually just led to lots and lots of health problems and a rare genetic disorder being diagnosed, and basically experiencing the low of the low. And Jan's going to be talking about her story. It's going to be moving, it's going to be powerful, how she turned that around, how she turned to art and music to get a new outlet in life. I'm really, really looking forward to chatting to you today, Jan. As I said yesterday, we had a brief chat. My clients that come to me, generally stress, anxiety, traumatic childhoods that I deal with. And I said to you on the phone, I don't deal with clients who are in physical pain or been through physical pain or have to live through physical pain. And last night I sat and thought about it, and I don't think I have. And I just think it's a really important topic. And Jan is actually part of a band called the Good Earth Collective, which is amazing. And Jan will be talking about that more later on, how, as I said, how she uses music. So to kick the program off, I want to play one of my favorite songs from the Good Earth Collective, and that's Walking on a Wire.
You and I walk on a wire, desperate dances between earth and sky. You and I can't fight the fire. It's the twist of danger that helps us both to fly. Or could it be that we are both just liars? Yeah, just two fools playing with a loaded dice. Well, that may be, but you know this game we're playing. That may be, but you know where you'll find us tonight. We'll be walking on a wire. You and I walk on a wire, but we're just sky riders with nothing left to say. You and tired, but it's the fear of falling that keeps us in the game. Oh, could it be that we are both just liars? Yeah, we're just two fools playing with loaded dice. Well, that may be, but you know this game we're playing. Yeah, that may be, but you know where you'll find me tonight. I'll be walking on a wire. Just liars. Yeah, just two fools playing with loaded dice. Well, that may be, but you know this game we're playing. Yeah, that may be, but I know where I'll find you tonight. You'll be walking on a wire. You and I walk on a wire.
Narelle summers, be kind to your mind. On Small Radio.
Okay, so I've got my guest today who I've known for, as I said, over 20 years now, Jan. And I want to go back basically to the beginning of this story and how it all started, Jan.
Well, yeah, about 7 years ago, I was actually working in education. I was working as one of the top sixth form colleges in the country, and General FE college, and I had a very full-on job. I had about 40 staff under me. I had two quite small children, and both my husband and I working, and we were both running from pillar to post, always being late. Well, I was always being late anyway, for one thing to another, and just dealing with crises after crises and sorting things out for people, and that was my job. I was the middle manager that kind of sorted everything. Mm-hmm. And it was quite a full-on life, and what happened is I had an appendicitis, although quite late in life, I was told, for an appendicitis. Apparently they affect younger people, but when I went to the hospital, I was told it was a textbook. They took it out, and post-op I just didn't recover. I still had pain, and it was higher up stomach pain, and this continued. I was very sick and really very not well, and so I ended up back in hospital for a month while they gave me pretty much every test under the sun, at which point they didn't actually know what was wrong with me, so they took out my gallbladder. Yeah.
Let's start taking organs out.
Yes, they take organs out. But after that, I still wasn't better, and the hospital didn't actually know what to do with me at that point. They were sort of at a loss, and I can remember the conversation. I was in so much pain I couldn't walk. I was in a wheelchair, My husband and I had with a surgeon. He said, "Well, we don't know. We're discharging you. We can't help you." And
Oh,
me,
blimey.
yeah, me sitting there going, "But hang on,
Yeah.
what's going on here? You've got to help me. I'm in really bad pain."
Mm.
Uh, but I had a chance conversation with another doctor at the hospital who was a trainee, and he said, "I think you've got this," which was something called sphincter Oddi dysfunction, which is the valve that can sort of links your pancreas and your liver to your stomach.
Okay.
Mine had gone into spasm, and it was a really tight spasm. It's a rare condition, would you believe? And so I went online and did something you shouldn't do, which is Google your illness.
Lots of people turn to Dr. Google.
And went, oh, hang on, actually, they're very similar problems, but I had no one to go to. I didn't know what to do. So I went online, I found a private doctor that specialised, and went to see him and got him to put me onto his NHS list, basically, his hospital.
Yeah.
So I went to be treated in Manchester, under which I had 5 different operations, all of which I took really a long time to recover from, had quite bad reactions to some of the things they did to me, and was very sick every time. So much so they're like, "We're never doing surgery on you again."
Oh, yeah.
But it's I mean, it's okay. It's a much better situation now. But as this was happening, obviously my physicality was getting less and less, and I was moving around less and less, and I was having to use a wheelchair because I was in so much pain with my stomach. And I started to get really stiff and in an awful lot of pain. First of all, in my hands, and then my other joints. My foot, my right foot was particularly bad. And so we thought, oh my goodness, am I coming down with rheumatoid arthritis? Is something like that happening? And so I went to a rheumatologist, and I think it was because I went in, sat in a wheelchair. He didn't actually sort of give me a full physical exam. He just went, okay, we'll do the tests and whatever. And all the RA tests came back negative, and they gave me the evil diagnosis that is given to an awful lot of women when they don't know what's wrong, which is fibromyalgia.
Okay.
That's basically, you've got pain, but we don't know really what it is. And told to go away again. And I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And at which point I did the same thing again. Went and found another doctor, went and had an examination with them, and they said, "Oh, you're hypermobile." Hypermobile? They said, "Oh, you're really bendy. It's look up hypermobility disorder." I mean, he said it's on a spectrum. I'm not saying that you're one end or the other, because it can be a bit scary. But he said, you're hypermobile. And I said, well, yeah, I've always been good at doing gymnastics, and I've been quite a physical person because I could dance and move, and I've always been able to touch my toes and run splits and those sort of things. And so I went away and looked on hypermobility disorder, and indeed, actually, hypermobility disorder is actually under the umbrella of what is actually known as Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
Gosh, you've got all some fancy names, haven't you? I mean, I haven't heard of any of these.
Well, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is actually a genetic disorder which makes all the collagen in your body too soft.
Okay.
And that causes you a lot of problems then with other parts of your body. So if you see it as like an umbrella title of which everything else hangs off, then that's probably the best way to describe it. And I read the about it. There is a website for eds.co.uk. That's the EDS Society in the UK. They've got a website with really good information on it about where you can, what EDS is, how people are diagnosed with it, the problems it can cause you. And there are, I think, about 13 different types of EDS now.
Oh, wow.
So the most common one is the one I have, which is hypermobile. But you can get other varieties which cause you other problems. So some people have excessively stretchy skin, so you can pull your skin and it will come out a long way, much further than anybody else. That's classical EDS. Some people, it really affects the veins in your body, and that can be fatal. Vascular EDS.
So how many conditions would you say that you personally have, Jan?
From top to bottom, I think on the last count about 14.
14 health problems.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, Jan, I can't imagine your life. And I know that I sent you a message yesterday and you said, oh, I'll send you the information once I've come back from the hospital. I need to go to this appointment. And you laughingly, you just said every part of my body there's something wrong with it. I mean, I can't imagine what you are going through or what you have gone through. I can't.
Well, I think that's just it. I mean, getting my diagnosis was absolutely crucial,
Yes.
and it made so much sense. Reading that information, I'd always, as a child, been very bendy. I'd always I always used to get very fatigued. So by the end of the week, by Friday, I was useless. I couldn't really do anything. I was often sick on a Friday because I was just so worn out, and fatigue's part of it. And also, it's a genetic disorder, so it runs through your family. And we've always joked about the family thumb. We can all do that.
Okay.
On my mum's side of the family, and my two great aunts, and everybody, the family thumb. And actually, that is a mobility. It's a sign of EDS. It's one of the things they have on the things that test. Can you do this with your hands? Can you roll your hands and have your thumb poking out on the other side when you make a fist? Those sort of things are classical signs of actually having EDS.
I can see Richard trying to do those hand things. But the thing is, as a child, if a child's bendy and good at dance and gymnastics, you'd never query that. You'd just say they're flexible.
And a lot of people are just flexible.
Yes.
The key thing is when actually, if you see a child doing those sort of things and their joints are overextending, so if they're going past the straight and going beyond the straight, which is further than they should go, that's the key thing, really. That makes them have hyperextension is what they call it.
And as you said, I guess it was a sense of relief when you did get those diagnoses, because it can be very frustrating going backwards and forwards to the doctors, to the hospitals, and people not giving you answers, and you're in a lot of pain. They're giving you operations that are causing you more pain. I guess they're giving you more medication, then the side effects, they're not quite sure whether the medication will work or not. I mean, seriously, Jan, how did you cope?
Well, that's just it. During this journey, I didn't cope. I think that was it. The fact was that my health was declining. I had no idea why so many things were starting to go wrong with me.
Yeah.
And psychologically, that was having a huge effect while I was desperately trying to still work doing this job where I was pillar to post, all these difficult things to deal with. Still had the children to look after, and I couldn't even walk at this point. I was in so much pain. I was going to work on morphine. I was carrying Oromorph around me at work, and I was having to take Oromorph at work while I was in the break between teaching classes and having meetings and all of those things. And that is no way to be living your life. And actually, the thing is, a lot of people do live their lives that way, and they are in chronic pain all the time. But you can only sustain that kind of thing for a certain amount of time before it all just becomes too much. And psychologically, it did for me. And eventually, you know, my mind decided to check out from it all, and you know, in a fairly monumental nervous breakdown, really, which, as I say, took me to this horribly low point. And then, you know, there I was in hospital, sat there on my own for a week, just completely stunned, and not knowing what I was doing. And it was awful. It was really, really the lowest point of my life. But from then on in, I had to really work, and it has been a lot of work. I mean, it's been a good 5 years worth of work to get myself back to being the person that I am now.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, Jan, I can't imagine what you've been through. And you know, people, when you're in physical pain, your mind and your body is connected. So many people think that they're not connected. What's going on in your body is affecting your mind, is affecting your well-being, it's affecting your mental health. And I mean, hat off to you, Jan, you know, coming from the lowest of the low, and it's rebuilding your life from scratch. Now, as you said, that has been difficult, and it is hard work. But yeah, I admire you, Jan. I really do admire you, because I'm not quite sure whether I would have had the strength to build it back up again.
Well, I think that's, you kind of have to, because
Yes.
you've made, you know, you've hit that point. You're either going down or you've got to go back up again. So I think that's the thing, and it's quite, it is quite hard. The biggest problem was that I couldn't work anymore, and it was realizing, actually, you've just got too many things wrong with you to deal with to be able to go to work, because actually you go to hospital at least twice a week, and you go to at least 4 or 5 different hospitals to be treated, and that on its own is a full-time exhausting occupation.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So it becomes quite a difficult thing. You just have to admit where you are.
But it's, I mean, you were in so much physical pain, then you had to, you know, give your job up. You still got your children to look after, still got your husband.
Well, having a husband helps, actually, because they're there to look after the kids, and the kids were wonderful as well. The thing I think for me was actually realising that it was a support network there. I wasn't on my own, and that there were people around me that cared an awful lot. But I totally lost my identity. I placed all my identity within my job, because I had this very full-on job. And because I was working so hard, I really didn't have much of a friendship group, because I never had time to have a friendship group. It was always sort of on the go, doing this or this or this or this, you know. And so that, I think that was the biggest thing, was kind of going, okay, actually, I've got life. I've got a life here, but actually, what kind of life is it really? Because I'm pouring all my energies into things that aren't that important. I mean, A-level results when it came out yesterday, they are important. I won't lie. But to me personally, actually, it's not going to affect me whether you manage to get an A grade. But the position I was in was so focused on you've got to get the best grades. You've got to be the ultimate performer. You've got to get your team to the absolutely highest point. And I had pretty much an impossible job. I mean, teachers are pretty independent thinkers, and they don't want to be herded. You know, they don't really want to be told that they have to do this and they have to do that. They want to have some expression in their jobs to get the best out of their students.
And you just said something very interesting there, Jan. You know, because when things do happen to people, they do take a step back and they do reflect what is really important in your life.
Yeah.
And I also say to people, stop waiting for that trauma. Stop waiting for something to happen to make you change your mind. Change your mind now. What is important? You know, people wait for a death in the family or something, you know, being made redundant at work or an illness like you. And then they think, oh, I need to change my life now.
I think you have to wait till something big happens to have it pointed out to you, because you're blind to it a lot of the time. You think this is my track, this is the track I have to follow, and I don't think actually it even occurs to people that actually you can get off this track,
Yes,
and move to another, or they're frightened to.
Yes, fear does stop a lot of people doing what they want to do. Yeah, absolutely. But it's great to hear that, you know, you've got the family support. Your kids have been amazing. Your husband's been amazing. You've got that family support. And I guess that's really helped you, you know, overcome things.
Yeah, it has. I mean, it's not been an easy journey for
Oh.
any of us by any means. And
Yes.
living, I think this is the point I should make for anyone living with anybody who is in constant pain. It's not easy. I am not an easy person to live with. You know, if I'm in pain a lot, I can be really bad tempered. And even though I try not to be, but I can be really waspish and not so nice at times. And I'm on such a lot of medication that the medication changes my personality sometimes, and and makes me less a person of who I really am. And that
And
is very
also,
difficult.
when you are with somebody who is in pain, as I said, I can't imagine it. So it's really hard, I guess, for other people watching you. You can say that I'm in a lot of pain, but people can't interpret that and appreciate that really. Gosh.
I think the best thing I could do to describe it for someone who isn't a pain sufferer and they're trying to understand what it is, put a stone in your shoe for the day, and then tell me how you feel at the end of it, because that is what it's like
But all over your body.
it's all
though.
over my body, yes. But you know, that's the thing. You know, I'm on medication, but I have to say, in my case, I started on this journey, and part of that journey was about actually getting off some of those medications, particularly the morphine. Opiates are not good for you in any way, shape, or form. And I, at the time, they were really quite happy to let me carry on taking them forever. You know, and no, it's very, very bad for anyone to be on opiates for any length of time. And so I deliberately weaned myself off those opiates but I had to find other means then to be able to cope with that pain. So
and also one of the things, what was your music, and you are part of the Good Earth Collective.
yeah.
And if you just want to, tell me a little bit about them, and then introduce a song, please.
Well, I was just thinking that actually myself. Yeah, the band is kind of actually my husband's band. One of the great things, use your husband's skills to help your own mindfulness. But he is a very gifted musician. Actually, I met him at university when he was studying music, and he was, well, we basically had a band, but we've evolved a lot over time and kind of formed a new band sort of during the time of my illness. This song you're going to listen to in a moment is one that we've actually just recorded yesterday, especially for you.
Oh, wow! Love that!
An exclusive.
An exclusive, yes. And it's a song that's kind of written about being in that situation of being in a couple when times are difficult, and you really kind of want to say what you think, and you just say everything else but. Yeah, I think that's pretty much where it is, but it's called Too Many Words in This Song.
Oh, wow.
So you're listening to Narelle Summers live on Smile Radio with special guest Jan Ansel. Is that correct? Have I pronounced it? Thank you. So yeah, if you're listening live, you can catch us on Facebook as well. We're on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, and all the rest of it. So if you want to get in touch, Narelle will be letting you know how you can do that a bit later on at the end, towards the end of the show. So this is Too Many Words live on Smile Radio.
I wanna tell you how I'm feeling. I wanna tell you what is wrong. My cup is running over. There's too many words in this song. Yes, there's too many words in this song. Let's break some bread and taste the moment. Let's share some wine and silver bone. Let's talk it out and close the distance. Too many words in this song. Too many words in this song. I'm talking it, I'm walking it. Too many words in this song. I'm talking it, I'm walking it. Too many words in this song. Too many words in this song. Too many words in this song. I want to tell you how I'm feeling. I want to tell you what is wrong. So much to say, my cup runs over. Yeah, there's too many words in this song. No, there's too many words in this song. Oh, yes, there's too many words in this song.
Narelle Summers, be kind to your mind. On Smile Radio.
That song, Jan, has just given me goosebumps. That was lovely. That was yeah, loved it. Absolutely loved that. And very, very meaningful for what we're actually talking to today. So
Yeah.
thank you to you and Steve for recording that. That was very powerful. I've got, my hairs are standing up on my arms.
Thank you. Thank you.
If anybody wants to contact the Good Earth Collective for gigs, or festivals, where can they find you on social media, Jan?
We're on most of the social medias.
Okay.
But you can go to our Facebook page and message us directly, or you can go to our website, which is goodearthcollective.co.uk. And we're on Instagram, and I believe Andy does our Twitter, but Twitter's a bit beyond me, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
I don't do any formats where people are rude to each other, to be honest, so I kind of stay away from that stuff.
So you've just been on such a journey, Jan. And how do you cope now? I know that music is an outlet. You've got 14 different health conditions. You are still in and out of hospital. You're still having operations and tests and taking medication. That's not going to change, is it? So
no, well, I think for me that was one of the toughest things to come to terms with.
yes,
But you're not getting better.
yes,
You're probably just going to collect some more stuff that's wrong with you, and you're not going to get better. For me, it was about sort of finding a way to deal with the pain. They send you on lots of pain management courses in a way to kind of deal with it. And I'm really good at that whole meditation navel gazing thing. I am, I'm not a religious believer. I understand sort of having space and around me, and I've always found nature to be a big sort of psychological comfort to me. But I've never been very good at just sitting there, clearing my mind and thinking no thoughts and that sort of thing. So, but what I did always used to enjoy doing was arts and crafts. And I just thought, do you know what? I've got some time. I'm going to start doing arts and crafts stuff. And I started exploring things. And one of the things I had been doing as a bit of a hobby was actually my own family genealogy. And I've been sort of tracking back my family tree, and I was looking up some family members, and so I thought, I could make some artwork with regards to some of the stuff I'd found out, and look up some of the people who were kind of family mysteries and stories, and see if they were actually true. And I started off with the theatre side of my family. And my grandma had always told me about some aunt of hers who had run away to America. Well, as Granny said, did a flit in the middle of the night, ran away to America, and became a famous film star and married a senator, an American senator. And she said she became terribly famous. And I thought, do you know what? I'll find her, and I'll look her up. And Violet Hemming, I looked her up, and indeed she did move to America, but she went to America with her first husband. And they split up along the route. She became initially a silent film star.
Oh, wow.
And she did become quite famous in theatre and on silent film. And she did indeed marry an American senator, and President Truman was her best man at her wedding. And she's actually buried in Arlington Cemetery in America. And but while looking up her family tree, I found her tickets to America.
Wow.
On logbooks. I found her, entry into America. I found theatre references to her. I found, some of her old posters for some of her old films, and I thought, oh, this actually would make a really good piece of artwork. So I made this piece of artwork. This was sort of about her looking out from the ghosts of the past, as it were, with things around her. And then I made one for my own great grandmother, who was also an actress. It was her first cousin that did the flit, so I did one for her, and I knew more about her theatre past. And then I did one for my great grandfather, who was a ship's captain. So that was very interesting. So I found lots of references about him travelling to different places in the sea, and places that actually, things I didn't know, like the rest of my grandfather's family all went to Canada. They all left the UK and went to Canada, and it was only his father that was stayed because he was a ship's captain and he was working at the port of Liverpool. So if he'd chosen to go and live in Canada, then no, I wouldn't exist. It would have been a completely different story. So I made this sort of collection of different people and artworks, and I got into contact with another chap who worked in London, and he was running an exhibition, and this was just before lockdown actually. And he said, oh, I'd really like to show your work in my exhibition. And so I had my first ever gallery show in London.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And I suddenly thought, oh, maybe I could do this art thing, and maybe that's something people quite like, the stuff that I'm making and the stuff that's behind it. And so that kind of carried on during lockdown with me exploring doing different things, and sort of also within the craft thing, I learnt how to do wet felting, and started learning how to make hats and all sorts of things.
And I think it's important, and you touched on this when you were just telling me that part of the story. I think it's important, and this goes for physical health or mental health. It's really important to do what is right for you.
Yeah.
You've had a go at meditation, doesn't sit well with you, so you've moved on to something else. And I always say, to my clients and my audiences, I'll share as many techniques as you possibly want. Go away, have a go at one or two. If you like them, then keep them in your routine. If you don't, change them. It's all about what works for you.
Yes.
And you found that art and music really works for you. I guess it's an escapism as well. And that acts as that in itself, doing art and doing music, as you said, it's your own mindfulness.
Yes, it's a meditation in itself. Because it means that I'm sitting there and I'm concentrating on creating something that hopefully has some kind of worth to me emotionally. And it's even nicer when other people are kind about it. But it gives me that space and that emotional space around me where there isn't anything else inflicting on my life. So there isn't you've got to do this, you've got to the children need taking somewhere, this has got to happen, you've got to try and vacuum the floor today, all of those things that it allows you just to push it all away and just focus on one thing. And it's forcing yourself to do it daily is the hard thing, actually. To go, actually, this is my routine and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do something a bit creative every day. Is the thing. It's to give yourself the space.
And also, yes, it is about doing it on a daily basis and putting it into your routine and getting it into a habit. And then that's it, isn't it? And as you said, it's quality me time.
Yeah.
And so many people, just say, oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week. But quality me time, regardless of what is going on with your life, physical health, mental health, quality me time. It's about, you know, recharging your batteries.
Mm-hmm.
And also, as you said, it's being present. Now, when you're being present and you're enjoying your art and you're enjoying your music, that mind is not thinking about something that's happened in the past. It's not thinking about something what's happened in the future. You're thinking, oh, what colors go with this and what shade. I know this is completely different because I'm not. I do like art, but I found I came across mindfulness colouring in lockdown 1. Oh my word! I mean, I was back to, you know, little Narelle. I'd got felt tip pens. I was colouring in, and
Isn't it
I
funny
did.
though, when you were 8, you had the world sussed actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
You used to like love to do nothing else but sit there and colour.
Oh no! And I didn't realise there was a global pandemic going on. I was like, oh, what colour can my flowers be? You know, and I just completely lost myself in my colouring in. And I have spoken to a couple of GPs actually who've recommended mindfulness colouring in for people who are anxious or have got depression, because you lose yourself. And art is, you know, even if you think you're not good enough. I've recently, I won't mention the art gallery, but sometimes I go to different art galleries in the UK or abroad, and I honestly come across art and I think, do you know what? I could do that.
Yes.
You don't have to be an expert.
No.
Just go and enjoy yourself.
That's just it. And there's actually no right or wrong way to make it. There is no. That's just it. Whatever you make, whatever you come out with, well, it's great because it's yours, and you had a go at it. And yeah, it might not be the same shape as the person who's been doing it for 20 years, but it's going to be a creation of yours and something of your own making and something that you can be really, really proud of. I think that's the really big thing, is actually accepting that what you make it's fine, and if it's rubbish at the end of the day and you don't like it, bin it, it's fine. But what it gives you is something that that takes you away from that pain that you might be in, or the pressures of the life around you, and it gives you that quiet time in your brain. And you
because I know this
time.
is I mean, this is, you know, how you know, even in me, I could have, I don't know, a painful back.
Yeah.
Nothing like what you're going through. But I think, oh, my back's hurting me. Then I'll start doing something, and then all of a sudden that back pain's gone, but it hasn't. It's still there, but I've zoned out.
Yeah. And it's actually, you can train your brain to do that. You can train your brain to think about positive things and take your mind away from the amount of pain that you're in. And when you're in that place, you need to take fewer painkillers and be less reliant on the medication.
Because it's where your focus is. If you're not doing anything, you will be focusing on that pain or that inner chatter, whatever it is. But once you start doing an activity, you get involved, then the focus is on that activity, not the pain or the inner chatter.
Yeah. And I think actually the different thing about music from the arts for me is a very solo activity.
Yeah.
Being in my space, but being in with the band is actually a social activity, because one of the big problems that I have is that I lack energy. I sometimes feel really ill, and you know, I might get a terrible migraine, and various things might be going on, and I just can't go out. And so sometimes I've got things that I've planned to do for flipping ages, and then I'm just too sick to do it, and it's really frustrating. And also, people get annoyed with you because they think you're doing it deliberately, and you're not. You're just going, actually, I can't do this. It's just too much. So the band thing's great, because the band come round every Tuesday without fail for band practice. And so for me, it's in my own house, which is a good starter. And there's been a few occasions where I've been too ill to do it, but usually I'm all right enough to sit in my own kitchen and have other people come and sing and make music with us. And the great thing about being with people when you and you're making sound together is it's a really unifying thing. And I guess I was thinking about this because I'd mentioned to you previously about actually it's culturally a very unifying thing. If you look at every single culture, they've got a way of getting together and singing. So in our own culture, people in the past used to go to the church. Currently we have our own sort of pop idols that we adore and like to go and see, so we can sing along to their songs or do karaoke too, and everybody knows that song and generally everybody joins in. In cultures past, you might have got together for a ceremony or whatever, and sung and done just that. So and that feeling, it creates endorphins, and there is actually a whole study that's been done on the positivity of music on the brain, and it creates that endorphin hit of feeling really good about making a good sound together, and particularly when you're doing harmonies, when you get that kind of everybody gets into the same groove and it's great. And I always, no matter how many times I felt rubbish at the start of a rehearsal, by the end of it I felt good, because
music does lift you regardless of whether you're singing or playing or listening to it. It does lift your mood. And I'm just going to give you another opportunity to play one of your other songs now, Jan. So do you want to introduce it?
This next song's called Dream to Fall, and actually it does have some of those harmonies in that I've just been talking about, and it's a really restful song. We always joke and say this is our Sunday morning song, because it's all about waking up after a cracking Saturday night, and making that mistake where you maybe had a glass of wine too many, but that positive, but that kind of knowing that you actually did have a good night. You might have a hangover, but you had a good night, and so this is a quiet celebration song. I call that. So it's called Dream to Fall.
Thank you.
We pass the time, you pass the wine, then I passed out on your floor. I sleep to dream, I dream to fall. Seem better in the afternoon. I know I've seen that show and tell. So until there is a fire, it burns down deep inside. It chars my blistered pride. And so I sing that song again. must pass this empty glass, a clear reminder of my shame. I sleep of kings and queens, and I dream, and I dream, and I dream, and I dream, and I dream.
Narelle Summers, be kind to your mind. On Smile Radio.
So welcome back. And Jan, I actually could listen to you all day talking. I find it fascinating. And I also think that a lot of people listening today will have got so much from you. And because of the timings and the technical problems, we've only got 4 minutes left of the show.
We've actually got less than that. We've got
Less than that.
we've got 3.5
my
minutes.
Timings.
It's
my
all gone.
timings are out.
I'm so sorry, Narelle. I'm so sorry.
No. I should have made a note of them. It's
Don't
okay. So I just want to ask a question, Jan. What would you say if somebody was in a similar position to you? What piece of advice would you give them?
Well, succinctly, I will try to say is if you're not too sure or had bad answers, be persistent, because you've got to keep pushing to find out what's wrong with you, and don't think that your life has to be ruled by painkillers. You can find a different way for it to be ruled by, sort of than morphine and those very, very hard drugs that kind of rob you of your life. And 3, find support. There's usually a support group out there for whatever condition you've got, and they can be brilliant. And talking to people in the same situation as you makes all the difference.
And I think you mentioned that Scope, the charity, as well, has information helplines for people.
If you find yourself in the same position as me, where actually I had to face up to becoming a disabled person, maybe that's another show. Where the charity Scope have been wonderfully supportive, and can give you an awful lot of information about sort of dealing with your new situation, and sort of where to find some of the things that you need to find.
Okay, so we literally have 1 minute left. And I just want to say thank you so much, Jan, for coming on and sharing your story. Thank you so much, Richard, for this show, sorting out those technical problems. I don't have a clue. You're brilliant. If anybody wants to contact me, they can contact me via Smile Radio, or have a look on my Facebook page, Narelle Summers, or my website is Narelle Summers as well. Drop me an email, drop me a message. It's just been absolutely fantastic, Jan, sharing your story. I loved listening to it, but I can't imagine it.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you want to catch the show, you can go to our website, smileradio.co/on-demand. I'm really, really sorry, we're going to have to cut it off, but thanks again, Jan. Thanks again, Narelle. Have a lovely rest of your weekend. Take care, everybody, and stay safe. Bye.
Bye.